It's showtime, folks.
Absolute Cinema 6-3 Team USA win versus Denmark. Another dub in the Olympics, baby. Let's go. Another win versus a tiny third world country. Let's get it. What the fuck is a kilometer, baby? Rah! Let's go. 2-0 for the US. Perfect so far. Yeah, scoreboard wise, this game looked closer than it appeared. Right? If you didn't watch the game, you saw it was a 6-3 win versus Denmark. You probably wouldn't think much of it. You probably think it wasn't a very good game for the U.S., but I think they played a lot better than the score showed. It was another convincing win. So, yeah, getting to the game itself on this Saturday night. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody watching. Yeah, Swayman, Jeremy Swayman in net for the U.S., Mads Søgaard in net for Denmark, and we're underway. First period gets going. Not a good start for the U.S. The game did not get off to a good start. Denmark gets on the board first, courtesy of Olesen. It's a net front shot that went in off of Zach Werenski's skate. Werenski failed to get the puck out of the zone. It was a bit of a turnover there that led to that opportunity for the Danes. So they get the lead in this game. Olczyk and the announcing crew at first thought maybe it went in off of the Danish player and thought the U.S. might take a look at it, but it went off of the skate of our own player. So nothing to look at there. It's a good goal. And yeah, the Danes get the initial 1-0 lead in the game. So you don't like to see that. Not a great start for the U.S. whatsoever. But they get a response very soon after from Matthew Boldy. Matt Boldy ties it up for the U.S. off a slick wraparound goal there. He makes a nice play to enter the zone. Quinn Hughes sets him up there, and he breaks into the zone, and then uses his footwork to kind of fool the goaltender there. So ties up the game for the U.S. Pretty much immediately after the ensuing shift, ties up the game. So you'll have to see that for the U.S. and Matt Boldy. He was good for the U.S. in the Four Nations last year. He's been good so far in the Olympics this year. So good to see that, making his presence felt. Danes get a power play pretty soon after to try to kind of get the game back in their favor, get the lead back. U.S. gets the kill. Penalty kill has been good for the U.S. so far in this tournament and gets the job done. But yeah, that would be short-lived because once the game gets back to even strength, Jeremy Swayman lets in an absolute softy, an absolute muffin from center ice, literally from the red line. The Danish player Jensen is just dumping the puck in the zone, right? Just a simple flick of a wrist, and Jeremy Swayman, I guess he lost vision of the puck. I think the puck may have deflected off of a U.S. player, leading up to the net. So I guess he lost track of the puck, and it goes in. So definitely a soft goal to say the least. I don't think Spencer Knight would have given up that goal. I'm just saying. I don't think Spencer Knight would have let in a softie like that, but whatever. The U.S. decided not to take Spencer Knight, so it is what it is. But yeah, the Danes had the 2-1 lead in this game suddenly, and they lead the pair of the 2-1 lead. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the start that you want. You don't want to be, down versus Denmark after a whole period of play. It's not what you want to see. Bit of a sloppy period from the U.S. They did outshoot Denmark, but just some sloppy play, some bad turnovers, and yeah, just they didn't really quite show up ready to go with this one. So kind of similar to the first period of the Latvia game, right? Just a bit of a sloppy start, but I think it will wake them up. I think it will wake them up, and the U.S. would have yet another good, strong second period, just like the Latvia game. They get a power play pretty early on in the second period. The Danes do kill it off, so you want to see the U.S. power play get going a little bit more here. But pretty soon after that power play, they start to get going big time. Brady Tkachuk, one of the Smash Bros, gets a nice snipe off the face-off win, and he ties up the game for the U.S. Jack Eichel, the Brady Tkachuk, it was an absolute snipe, finds the time and space, and a wires one pass. Søgaard tied the game for the U.S. So definitely much needed goal for the U.S. there to kind of get the energy back, get them back going in this game, and they would ride that wave. They would ride that wave for the rest of the game. Jack Eichel gets the U.S. the lead. Just 57 seconds later, Eichel gives the U.S. the lead. Again, and once again, off another, face-off win for the U.S. off the draw. 2 goals in 57 seconds for the U.S. Eichel wins the draw, and then he puts the puck in on his own. So, good stuff, good work there from Eichel. That line's been great for the U.S. The Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, Jack Eichel line's been great. It was very solid in the opening game versus Latvia. It was very solid in this game once again. So, been a strong line for the U.S. It definitely be one that will need to show up for them to win gold for sure. And so far, it has. Definitely swung momentum in the U.S. favor. And yeah, you can tell after that goal, the U.S. really started to get going, really started to generate chances and shots, and the game kind of started to come their way. And they would expand on that lead pretty soon after. This time via Noah Hanifin, defenseman Noah Hanifin enters the zone, takes his initial shot, is blocked from a Danish defender. He gets the puck back, kind of a lucky bounce there, finds the puck, and then is able to wire one past Søgaard. The puck just barely squeaks through past him. So suddenly it's a 4-2 game for the U.S., and they have some insurance in this with a multi-goal lead. So you like to see that. Would not last though, because right as the period is about to close, with just 2.6 seconds remaining, Jeremy Swayman lets in yet another softie, a second softie of the game. This one is a shot from the point. There was no deflection, no tip, no screen, no nothing I saw. No change of direction from the puck or anything. And suddenly it's a 1-goal game. It's a 4-3 game. And, Danes definitely leave this period with something, right? It wasn't a very good period for them, but, they do leave the period with something. It's just a 1-goal game going to the third. So you're in this game for the Danes. And, for them to be in this game, for as long as they were, I think is a credit to them. It's a stronger squad than Latvia, to be fair. They got some NHL players in that squad. They got guys like Nikolai Ehlers and Oliver Bjorkstrand and guys like that. So they got some talent on that team, but still, it's in terms of the it's not close when you compare the U.S. rosters and the Danish rosters. It's the U.S. rosters full of star NHL players. So this is a game that really shouldn't be as close as it is. But the third period, the U.S. would convincingly be able to take the dub. The Danes do push hard early on the period to try to tap the game. They were pushing hard. The U.S. needs a response from a different line here, right? A lot of it's been from the Tkachuk Bros and Eichel line. They need another line to show up here. And this time they get it from the Austin Matthews line. Matthews finds Jake Guentzel on top of the circle, and the Guentzel snipe makes a 5-3 for the U.S., gives them a much-needed insurance goal there. So definitely needed that one. Good to see there. Matthews started to show up in this tournament. I'm going to need more from him for sure, especially if the U.S. wants to win gold. They're going to need a big performances from Austin Matthews for sure. And big goal for the U.S. Danes get a power play soon after. U.S. gets a kill. So PK has been pretty much perfect for the U.S. so far. U.S. would expand upon that lead even further, this time courtesy of Jack Hughes. Hughes' brother's been good so far in this tournament, especially Jack. He makes it 6-3 off of a Denmark turnover and banks it off the back of the Danish goaltender there in the Gretzky office. So nice play from Jack Hughes there to give the U.S. the 6-3 lead. And that would pretty much do it for this one. U.S. gets a power play later on. Danes get the kill. Denmark gets a power play about a minute left. Now they use the whole power play. Didn't matter. Game was over. 6-3 dub for the U.S. They proved it 2-0 so far in the tournament. And solid win for them. Again, like the Latvia game, not perfect. First 20 minutes are a bit rough, but I think from the second period onwards, the game kind of turned in their favor. And once they got it going, I think it was a strong performance. Once again, outshot their opposition. More than double the shots. I think it was about 40-20, something like that. So that's about what you want to see. They should be able to do that right. Again, talent-wise, the rosters aren't close. So both games the U.S. should win. They did. I think scoreboard-wise, both were probably closer than they really were. But that's all right. I think if anything, it's probably a good thing for this team to face a little bit of adversity, right? You want to see it. You don't just want to see them run away with every game, right? You want to see them in these close games, right? Because those are the type of games you're going to be in the medal rounds and the like. So I think it's probably a good thing for the team anyway. But that's all I got for this game. Next U.S. game is tomorrow versus Germany. That'll probably be the biggest test so far of the group stage play. Germany's definitely, and they got a lot of talent on that team. They got guys like Leon Draisaitl and Tim Stützle. And JJ Peterka, Moritz Seider, Blackhawks legend Lucas Reichel's in the team as well. So definitely a solid team there. Should be the U.S.'s best test. And the fact that it's a back-to-back as well should be a good test for them. But that's all I got in terms of U.S. stuff. In terms of Blackhawks stuff, Teravainen got a point for Finland today, and they're 11-0 win versus Italy. His first point of the tournament, I think that's a 1 point in 3 games so far for Teravainen in this tournament. So kind of quiet for him. You'd like to see a little bit more for him, but based on the way he's played this year, I shouldn't be shocked that he's having kind of a quiet Olympics. But still good to see him get on the board in some fashion nonetheless, and hopefully he can kind of get more going there in the medal rounds, right? And that'll get him going for sure. So, that's all I got in terms of that. And that's all I got for this game. Hopefully we see the U.S. Close out the tournament, the prelims portion of the tournament well tomorrow. I think being 3-0 undefeated, have that first win their group, right? Get that bye for the prelims, and that should set them up for the best seeding for the medal rounds. Hopefully they're able to do that versus Germany tomorrow. Should be a good matchup. All right, that's all I got for this one. Before I go, again, happy Valentine's Day to everybody watching, everybody who has couples, and everybody like me who doesn't have a couple. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. That's all I got for this one. Justin Lynch, Beyond Beams out. And if you like this content, feel free to subscribe. I believe we're closing in 800 subscribers. I believe we're just 8 away. So I'd love to get there as soon as possible. So thank you all so much for that. And like this video around, share it around friends, family if you enjoy the content. All right, that's all I got for this one. Justin Lynch, Beyond Beams out. And we'll see you all in the next one. Boop.